Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're going to be going over the epic modules that are in the game recently. I'm going to tell you about how to think about using them because a lot of you guys just recently unlocked them, but we're thinking to ourselves, okay, where do we want to put these things? Where are they going to make the most sense? I'm going to give you a breakdown on that, how to think about that issue, and give you some of my early thinking as to what kind of ships I've been putting them on. So, considerations for these: number one, you get one type of epic mod in your entire navy. All right, and this is as of going into March 2023. This is recently introduced as a concept into this game. Certainly, there's going to be some tweaks. Maybe the mods themselves are going to be rebalanced as well. They hinted that would be a strong possibility going into it. Okay, but this is where we're at right now. Okay, how do we get them up to this point? Well, there were kind of onerous missions that took a lot of grinding, a long time to get worked out. And then some of us got all of them, myself included. Some of us got none of them. And the rest of us are somewhere in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you got. Now we got to figure out how to put these on, because the key is to move them around, you have to spend doubloons, gold, real money. Okay? If you come across the epic mod, you put it on a ship, and then you say, okay, I want to move it. And so you go into your slot management screen that says, sell the mod for 3 million credits or however much it is. Do not step into that pile of shit. Okay, that means you're removing that module from your navy. It's going to disappear. You're not going to have access to it again, at least not currently. Maybe you can re-earn it down the road. Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't count on that by any means. But currently, you're going to lose access to it for 3 million credits. That's not the trade you want. Okay, these are powerful modules. You want to put them in the right spot, or if you don't have a good spot for them now, just hang on to them. Right? But do not sell them for credits unless you're very, very certain that you don't want them. And I can't fathom anyone actually wanting to do that. I think this is a bad setup. I think they're going to get a lot of angry feedback, Pitchfork Nation type responses. But do not sell them. All right, so if you're going to move them, you're going to pay 250 doubloons currently, and we want to get this right. We want to maybe try it on 1 or 2 ships, but we don't want to be moving it around every game, okay? So, my approach to these modules is we're going to say, okay, we got the base module, whatever it is normally. Like, let's take the main battery reload mod number 3. You got a 10% reduction in the reload. Sure, it adds time to the traverse. All right, that's kind of a balancing factor of that mod. But here, for every 50 hits we get an additional reduction of 2% to the reload. So we can go from 10% base reduction to 20% when we get 250 hits. Well, that's what we want to do. If we're going to put these mods on here, and they're quite powerful, we want them to be fully charged, and you got to charge them every single battle, right? So we're talking 250 hits in a given match. How do you do that? You need quick, reloading, accurate guns. Minotaur comes to mind. Perfect ship. 250 hits in the Minotaur. You can do that in the first 5 minutes of the game quite easily if you find yourself in the right position. So that's where I put this one on, the Minotaur. Go from 10% reduction in reload, which is already great, to 20%. Now we're shooting this thing very rapidly. We're piling up the damage, and we're withering the enemy team down. All right, so that's what we want to think about. If you put on a battleship, well, getting 50 hits in a full 15-minute match, that might be a decent result. Okay, but we're only getting 2% result, or 2% reduction there, and that's late into the match when we've piled up these hits. So that doesn't really do much. All right, so we want to be using these on ships that are going to get the bonus boosted all the way up as quick as possible. All right, that's my approach. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, but I do want a lot of interaction in the comments, ideally, because number one, I want to get more ideas from you guys. Where could I maybe put them on my navy? I've been getting a lot of feedback in the streams and stuff lately. But also, the people watching this video, they're the ones looking around saying, where should I put this? I'm giving them my opinion, but I want them to get more than one opinion, hopefully in a nice, convenient package here. So let us know what your thoughts are. If you've tried them out, did it work? Did it not work? What ship was it working on? All right, so that's the main battery reload mod 1. We want something that can pump out the hits quickly. I think Minotaur is great. Any light cruiser, Friesland would be another great option. Something that can pump out high volumes of hits quickly. That's what you want to be thinking about. All right, next up we got the Gunfire Control Systems mod number 2. What does this do? Well, it used to just provide a boost to the range, 5%. Recently, they buffed the raw module -3% main battery dispersion. So already this mod went from kind of, who needs more range except for backline Bettys, to, all right, we got an accuracy component and we got some range. Well, we can start working with this. So that's the base mod. And then the epic version that we're talking about here, we get an additional 2% to the range for every 50 hits. So again, we need something pumping out high volume of shots, accurate shots, and that can benefit for the range. So in my mind, I was thinking about, okay, what is it? I tried one game on the Megami. You can always use more range on the Megami. It's got good, relatively high velocity downrange shots. Accuracy is good. But the reload's not really there. Getting 250 hits regularly with the Megami, well, that's a full 15-minute endeavor, all right? And we don't want to be we don't want this thing maxing out at the end of the match if possible. We want to do it as quick as possible. So I'm thinking, okay, back to the drawing board. Kaba, legendary tier Russian destroyer. Something that loves harassing at range, reloads quickly, long, or high velocity, long range accuracy shots. This is perfect. So I put this thing on the Kaba. I played, I don't know, 10 games or so with it, and I've gotten it maxed regularly. All right, this is an easy ship for this thing to work on, and it benefits it. All right, so in my mind, this is the perfect thing. Any of the Russian gunboat destroyers I think would be good, but for me, Kaba is a good choice. I think it's just the prototypical one, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think for that one as well. That's just kind of what my mind zeroed in on relatively early, and I've stuck with it. All right, artillery plotting room mod, number 2. Now this one is an American, typically battleship specific only. There's a couple other ships, I think, like the Nassau might have it on there. There's a few other goofball ones, but it's typically a high tier American battleship type mod. What does it do? -10% main battery dispersion. All right, so that's a huge boost to the accuracy. Heck yeah. And then with the epic version, we can get an additional 2% up to 5 levels, so that's an additional 10%, -20% your main battery dispersion. That changes it into lasers, right? The catch is, how do we level it up? Well, we got to get 2 citadels per level. All right, so start thinking to yourself, well, what can ideally get 10 citadels in a match consistently? All right, that can use the artillery plotter room mod, because keep in mind, you got to find a ship that can use it to begin with, and that's where the difficulties come into. Now I'm thinking I'd put it on the Arkansas, low tier 3 American battleship that has a lot of juicy cruisers to shoot at. That can get some citadel shots in the game, but I've played 1 or 2 games. Number one, we don't need to be leaning into super high level builds at low levels, low tiers. But even then, it's not the best option. So this one, I'm more looking towards your feedback. I was thinking Alaska, but I don't know if I think Alaska has the artillery plotting room option on it. I believe, off the top of my head, I'd have to check. But either that or maybe Kansas, or we got Minnesota coming. We got, of course, all the high tier American battleships. I mean, if you got one of those that you really like, I think slapping it on there is fine. Reliably getting 10 citadels per match in any battleship, that's not going to happen very often, but when it does, man, this thing's going to be juiced. All right, it's going to be powerful but hard to use, I guess, is the way I'm looking at it now. So again, that's my early thoughts on that one, but that's kind of the one I've experimented with the least, and the one that I think is going to be the hardest to get fully charged in a given match. So I'm looking forward to what your guys' thoughts are on the artillery plotting room mod. The one that's currently the most powerful, and it's not even close, is the secondary battery mod. Number 3 is the base module. Secondary reload, -20%. So it's already a powerful aspect of any serious secondary build. Now we're adding -5% more per 50 hits. 250 hits with the secondary focus build, that's nothing. All right, you can get thousands of hits if you're playing an AI game. No doubt about it. But getting 250 hits in a regular game, like I got it on the Rupert right now. Now the Rupert's about to get a nerf today as you're watching this. We'll see how it performs going in. But currently getting 250 secondary hits, you can do it in the first 5 minutes of the match every single time if you get into a position where the secondaries are going off. And it's changing the reload from a 20% reduction to a negative 45% reduction, which is outstanding. So we're just talking about raw DPM boost here with the secondaries, and it's just such a kick-ass mod right now. I can't imagine this thing doesn't get nerfed or tweaked or adjusted, however you want to view it, going forward. But right now it's extremely powerful, and you got your options. You got Rupert, you got your Zeiten, you got the Schleifen coming here, you got the classics, Bismarck, Brandenburg, any of those things. Massachusetts, certainly. If you're a secondary guy and you love a good secondary build, just take your whatever one you like the most and put it on there would be my recommendation. I'm thinking the Schleifen, we'll find out about that ship here today, the legendary battle cruiser of the Germans, which is just dropping today. I'm thinking that's probably going to be the best place to put it, but we'll find out once we test that ship. I'll probably try that out in the ship review, so stay tuned for that here in the next day or two. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to be reviewing all the new stuff. But finally, the torpedo launcher mod number 3. Torpedo reload negative 15%. And then your chance of your torps getting knocked goes up. And then for the epic version, every 3 torpedo hits, you get another negative 2%. This one's also hard to fully spec in my mind, or fully boost. You know, again, 15 hits to get it fully maxed for an additional 10% off on the reload. Tough to do. It will happen, but think to yourself, what are some ships that get a lot of torpedo strikes? I got it on the Udachi currently. Usually every torpedo hit you get in a battleship or whatever boosts it 1 level, which is fine. Getting 1 or 2 levels a match takes a little bit off the reload. That's always good. But if you think like even the Harbin, the Sojong or whatever's coming, the Sejong, the Asian cruisers, you got quicker reloading destroyers with the torps. Think about what you're getting regularly a lot of torpedo hits with, and that's going to be the approach for that. So that one's another one I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think, where you're putting it. But those are kind of my ideas. Again, Udachi is just kind of my, guilty pleasures destroyer du jour. So that's where I put that. But let me know what you guys are thinking for all those ones. But that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, link below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.